European regulations on good distribution practice and supply chain integrity differ from those in the U.S. European market is more complex due to variations in implementation of EU law. This section does not analyze differences among individual member states, but only presents EU-level regulations and guidelines. Major incidents in the U.S., such as the 1982 Tylenol murders and the 2008 heparin incident, are included to illustrate the different drivers for implementation of good distribution practice regulations in the U.S. and in Europe. Good distribution practice ensures that the level of quality determined by good manufacturing practice, GMP, is maintained throughout the distribution network, so the authorized medicines are distributed to retail pharmacists and others selling medicines to the public without any alteration of their properties. The first EU-level law in the distribution of pharmaceuticals was the 1992 Directive on the wholesale distribution of medicinal products for human use. The main piece of legislation is the Directive 2001/83/EC. The directive was amended substantially in 2011 by the Falsified Medicines Directive. In this course, we present consolidated version of the directive from November 2012. For the most recent versions, always check the official journal of the European Union. Regulation 726/2004 adds provisions on parallel distribution within the EU. Good distribution practice guidelines were first issued in 1994 and substantially amended in 2013. Draft of the Delegated Act from August 2015 is introduced very briefly to outline new compulsory safety features of medicinal products which will soon come into force. Individual member states of the European Union have to transpose directives in national law, but this is done unevenly and the rules among individual countries may differ substantially. The first piece of legislation at EU level, Directive 25 from March 1992, refers to Article 100A of the treaty establishing the European Community. Its aim was to facilitate the establishment of European internal market without internal frontiers. The directive introduced the definition of wholesale distribution and public service obligation. It also spelled out the obligation of member states to issue authorizations to wholesalers on their territory, and conditions of such authorization. Consolidated version of Directive 2001/83/EC, amended by the Falsified Medicines Directive, is the core piece of legislation in the European Union. The Act details definitions, manufacture, import, labeling, information in the package leaflet, wholesale distribution, brokering, online retail, advertising, safety announcements, and pharmacovigilance. The Delegated Act is still a draft, currently available for comments. This piece details safety features of medicinal products soon to be introduced across the Union. Task of the European Medicines Agency, rules on parallel distribution of medicinal products and distribution of compassionate use products are detailed in Regulation 726/2004. The current version of Good Distribution Practice Guidelines from November 2013 is discussed in detail to provide a thorough understanding of the current requirements on the distribution of pharmaceuticals in the European Union. The document on the left leads to the full text of the directive in the official journal of the European Union. The aim of the directive was to facilitate establishment of internal market without internal frontiers. Wholesale distribution is subject to different provisions in the various member states who have to ensure that all wholesalers are held to the same standard, and no additional burdens are imposed on those from other EU member states. The obligation include the need to exercise control over the entire chain of distribution, to limit distribution only to medicinal products authorized in the EU, and to ensure their traceability. Wholesale distribution means all activities consisting of procuring, holding, supplying, or exporting medicinal products apart from supplying them to the public. Pharmacists who only supply medicinal products directly to the public are exempt from authorization as wholesalers. More stringent requirements apply to psychotropic medications, narcotics, radiopharmaceuticals, and products derived from human blood. Public service obligation means the obligation placed on wholesalers by member states to guarantee availability of an adequate range of medicinal products in a specific geographical area.